work. Next question. Let's move over to this side. Good afternoon for NGO350.org. The coal mine at Hazelwood that burned for 45 days in Australia, covering with toxic smoke and ash the surrounding towns. The question I'm about to ask comes from an inhabitant of Hazelwood, and I'm addressing myself to the shareholders. Did you know about this event that caused the death of 11 inhabitants owing to the resulting pollution? The pollution that will affect the local communities for the next 10 years has not been repaired by Engie. So I'm asking you, are you at last going to recognize your responsibility and draw the consequences? 2 local authorities in Australia have already filed a suit against Engie. It was proved that Engie had removed the protection equipment, and the Australian government is still awaiting for the local fire crews to be paid. The total cost was $66 million. When do you plan to repair the damage? When are you going to compensate the homes of the local people damaged by the disaster? And you seem to wish to embrace the energy revolution. When do you plan to close the Hazelwood plant by guaranteeing a fair transition for the workers there? Do you plan, after the shutdown, rehabilitate the mine according to best practices? And when? At the end of the day, do you accept your liability, and what conclusions do you draw? Furthermore, Madame Cocher, since you said that you wanted to be at the heart of the new energy world, you're going to have to address this reality because local inhabitants and communities are awaiting answers. Thanks.
Bien.
Well, we are fully conscious and, of course, aware of the situation of this Hazelwood mine that is located near a power plant that supplies the local communities. Hazelwood respects, complies with the in-force regulations. Of course, this fire broke out. There are investigations underway for the time being, to our knowledge, and I'm being careful here because there's an investigation underway indicating that there was no link between the fire and the fatalities that you refer to, so we can't say that there's any causal link established here. Furthermore, we're paying a tax that covers the intervention of the fire brigade, which is sort of an insurance policy, and on our part, we don't refuse to pay what we owe, and then there's partial rehabilitation underway, and if the authorities, through fully legal decisions, ask us to do more in terms of rehabilitation, we will do so, because everywhere throughout the world we comply with laws and regulations. More generally, as Isabelle stated, it's clear that we inherited, so to speak, from this large plant when we took over international power. And in fact, a small fraction of our power generation from coal activities, international power had 20% of its plant from coal, including the Hazelwood plant that you mentioned. 20%, I mean, the emerging world, the proportion is 50%. In emerging markets, 50% of power generation is from coal. So it's not easy overnight to turn out the lights on half the population, particularly the poorest. That's not what you're asking for. As to the future of the Hazelwood plant, we're considering it in a responsible manner, and we will take, as we have always done for all our industrial activities, take decisions responsibly by taking into account the local constraints as you referred to. Next question. Good afternoon. I'm an EDF and Engie employee. I have a question regarding the agreement with Novatech on the